What's up, everyone? My name is Joe Suro. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you are brand new to the channel or to the podcast, do me a favor, subscribe and like this content, share it with friends and family. I've really felt the love in launching this particular channel, and I just want to thank you guys so much for all your comments, your feedback, and I look forward to listening to more feedback from you guys. And so, man, without further ado, let's dive right into it. What we're going to talk about today is developing character. And so I've come up with about 5 things that I feel really develop the character of an individual, but also some things that we need to be looking out for in that pursuit of character development. The first thing is creating positive habits, right? Bad habits develop your character. Positive habits develop your character. And so what are the things that are positive that we need to be doing, right? Reading every day, not binge watching TV and hours scrolling on social media, being productive in our day, not procrastinating. But what are some of the bad habits, right? Those are the complete opposite, maybe, of what I just mentioned in terms of binge watching movies, TV shows, scrolling hours on your device. And so these are building bad habits that I think are easily recognized. Maybe not so much always, but they are easily recognized, especially in terms of how we are developing our character and how we're progressing in life as a whole. And developing habits is so incredibly important. And I think one of the things that we need to do in developing habits is having a goal. Making sure that we have a goal that we are working towards. You know, it's very easy to have a goal and put something out there that says, you know, I'm going to accomplish this, right? New Year's resolution or whatever that may look like. However, the question becomes, what do your habits move you towards? And so do your habits that you have right now move you towards that goal that you've established, or does it move you away, right? So when you look at your habits, you look at your goal, if they don't match up completely, I would question and challenge your habits and the effectiveness of those habits in reaching your particular goal. So make sure that they line up accordingly to where you want to go and how you want to progress, okay? And some goals, I'll give you some examples, like financial freedom. Right? So is financial freedom a goal? Getting stronger in the gym, eating healthier, starting a business? Like, what is your goal that you want to establish? And when you have that goal, you have that big picture, make sure your habits line up with those things, because those bad habits, man, they show their ugly head quite often. We've got to make sure that the good habits and the positive habits are the ones that are elevating us towards the goal that we want to see happen. Okay, I know that this video is just going to cover our character, but habits alone, in a later video, I'll cover positive habits in general and what that looks like in creating habits in more detail. But for the sake of the video, this is number 1, okay, in creating positive habits. Number 2, don't compare. Don't compare to other people, the good and or the bad. Comparison will kill your character. You will not grow into the person you're designed to be if you're constantly trying to fit into somebody else's shoes, okay? You have your own pair of shoes that you need to walk in. Wear those shoes. I have never seen an individual look at somebody else's career and life and their success and go, I'm going to do everything that they have done to the T, and then they have been able to produce and generate that same outcome in their own lives. There's nothing wrong with looking at somebody and going, man, they're killing it over here. I need to take some of that and develop me. Do that. I think that's awesome. I think when you start comparing and like what they do versus what you do, like it becomes a versus thing. I think that's when your character starts to deteriorate. Why is it that they've only been doing this for a year? I've been doing it for 5 years and they've progressed way more than I have. I think we've got to be careful in doing that, okay? Even comparing like how great of a person they are versus you are, or how many people like them versus how many people like you. I think you have a comparison. You got to be careful with, all right, well, how many likes do they get on social media versus my likes, or what is the content that they're producing versus my content, okay? And so you got to be real careful when you compare. And I think how you defeat comparison is by celebrating. I think celebration kills comparison. I think that's what the antidote is, if you will, is celebrating the individual for the likes that they got, celebrating the individual for the job that they just received, the promotion they got, right? The marriage that they just had, just celebrating them. Don't compare like, oh man, they got married, I'm still waiting to get married, right? No, celebrate that person. I think the more you celebrate people, the more your character will start developing. It'll start to grow, and then you'll start finding your individuality, and you won't compare who you are to the other person. Okay, so celebrate people, celebrate life, and congratulate people, and wish them the best. And again, you reap what you sow. Okay, that's very biblical, but I also think it's a life practice as well. Okay, man, just celebrate people. I think if you don't celebrate people you compare, you'll start to get bitter. You'll start to just experience, I think, some awkwardness, some things of being uncomfortable with who you are. And I just want you to be proud of you and value you. When you value you and who you are, you'll be able to value other people as well. Okay. Which leads me to the third thing is watch out for offenses. Watch out for offenses. Listen, guys, I can't stress this enough. You will have moments of offense. Choose not to be offended. All right. I've heard it said like this: offense is an event. Being offended is a decision. This is so crucial to the development of your character. People that stay offended keep people at arm's length. Right? People don't really want to get close to them. You don't even want people to get close to you if you're offended. You just carry a disposition that just people don't want to really be around. And people really sense that about an individual when they're offended, right? You could just sense it in people. It's almost like you could sniff it out. Like, man, that person's like constantly complaining. They're constantly like bitter or angry or whatnot. And your character speaks louder than your words. Okay. So you could try to portray a different persona, but your character is what people are going to see. As a matter of fact, I did a video. I'll leave a link on the top that says, what is leadership? The bottom line is you don't produce what you say, you produce who you are. And who you are underneath is what people are going to recognize, not so much what you say. And if you're constantly in a state of being offended, your character is not going to be able to grow. And you may be saying, oh, well, you don't know what they said to me or what they did to me. I don't. But one of the things that I know just adds gasoline to being offended is assumption. When you assume things about people, or assume things about like events or things that they may be saying about you, it just doesn't leave you in a good place. It just doesn't. I know that moments that I start assuming is the moment where I start like feeling this awkward offendedness about me. And I've got to check my heart like real quick, right? Because you're thinking that they're saying something about you, especially if you've had like an awkward interaction with somebody, right? And you think that you were offended or whatever, then they're talking to somebody else. You're like, oh, they're saying something about me. They're talking about me, right? Or they have this post on social media and you go, oh, they're talking about me. So then you passively aggressively put a post as well on social media back at them. And all the while they're not even thinking about you. I think that's the crazy thing. Like a lot of times when you're bent up in offense, they're sleeping good at night and you're tossing and turning because a lot of times they won't even know. Right. So you got to ask questions like, did they mean that? Or what did they mean by that? Or just ask them questions like, hey, explain this to me a little bit more when you said that. Right. Because we become offended when people say things or don't say things, do things or don't do things. And then we assume the rest. Right. So don't assume the worst, guys. Believe the best. And being offended leads to unforgiveness. And then that leads to bitterness, which then leads to anger and hatred and so many other things. And I want to encourage you today, forgive people that have offended you intentionally and unintentionally. Forgive. Because if you don't forgive, it's like you're in prison, locked up, and you can't escape. because forgiveness keeps you in prison, not the other person, you, right? Unforgiveness keeps you in prison. When you forgive, it's the key that unlocks the gate that allows you to be free. Okay. What unforgiveness does, I've heard it like this before. It's like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die from it. Man, being offended leads to unforgiveness, and we've got to nip that in the bud if we want our character to really grow and we want it to develop. Okay. So make sure that you watch out for that. Okay. Offense is an event. Being offended is a decision. The fourth thing, listen to me, read. Oh my gosh, watch. Read. Please read. Okay. To really develop your character, invest in yourself, invest in you, read a book, challenge yourself, grow in knowledge and understanding. Okay. The person that you'll be in a year will thank you for what you're doing right now, whether good or bad. Okay. They're not going to thank you if you're doing bad, right? Or is the person that you'll be a year from now going to be filled with thanks or filled with regret? Right? I think that needs to challenge us, a little bit. Like we think we've got time to do things and we really don't. We've got limited time, borrowed time on this planet. Take advantage of it. Invest in yourself, grow yourself. Okay. Man, there's been books that I've read that have challenged me and grown me into the person I am today. I want to share just a few with you. Okay. Number one is a book called The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. Matter of fact, it's that book right there. I would pick it up. It talks about waking up in the morning, yes, at 5 a.m. and the advantages of that and how you're successful in doing that, how it impacts you and the people around you. Okay. The next book is Day One by Drew Dudley. Day One by Drew Dudley is, simply put, every day treat it as the first day that you're doing it. So you remember how you felt when you went to the gym for the first time, like the excitement, like every day, treat it like that, right? The first day that you met someone, or the day that you opened your business or had the idea to open your business, or whatever that may be, treat every day as if it was the first day, first experience doing that. Okay. The next book is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Amazing book by Stephen Covey. Again, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or leader, manager, or you just want to develop an effective habits, pick up that book. Okay. The last book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Truly taught me the value in a person's name. Okay. How to interact with people. And so, man, those are just a few books that have really encouraged me and challenged me. There's been others as well. The Ruthless Elimination from Hurry, right? Right there's that book as well. Pick that book up as well. Man, really challenge you to rest, not hurry. Okay. So those are just a few books that have challenged me, and my future self is going to thank me for reading those books already. Like, I read some of those books even just this year, and 9 months later, I'm thanking me for reading those books, because I'm a different person today because of it. Invest in you. That's how your character grows even more. Okay. The last thing, number 5, integrity. I think this goes without saying. If you really want to grow your character, you must have integrity. What does that mean? Be honest. Have a set of standards and moral principles that you adhere to. Have standards that set you apart from everybody else. I think if you've got standards, people look at you a little differently. I think in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, right? Because we know what to say no to. We know what to say yes to. We know how to divide our time properly. And I think if you really want to be integrous, be honest. Okay, be honest with you. Be honest with people around you. Honesty hurts sometimes, right? Honesty hurts, and don't be honest for the sake of being honest and like hurting people's feelings, right? Like, I just got to be honest, right? We've all said that before, right? I just got to be honest. I got to keep it real. Okay, be honest, but in being honest, be kind. Okay, be kind in your honesty. All right, even with yourself. I think our worst critic is ourselves. Right? Like, we can beat ourselves up the most out of anybody in our honesty, but be even kind to yourself and how you speak to yourself. And the more that you value you, and the more that you speak honesty and kindness to you, I think you'll do that to other people as well. I truly believe that. I don't think you can really see the value in people if you don't first see the value in yourself. Okay. Love you. and then you can love other people, right? But if you don't love you, if you're not honest with you, right? If you're wearing a facade or anything like that, you're not going to be able to develop other people. And listen, in this life, it's not just about us. It's about other people. It's about helping other people and growing them as well. So be honest, okay? Be integrous, okay? Hold yourself to a higher standard. Don't go with the flow of the crowd if it leads you astray that doesn't match your moral principles, okay? Have a sense of integrity about you today, okay? Listen, if you don't hear anything else I say, I want you to get this. At the end of the day, your character will get the last laugh. When you're backed up against a corner, when life squeezes you, what comes out? What comes out of you, right? Do you react to things, right? Like, do you become offended really quick, right? Do you compare really quick? I've heard this saying, and it's actually from the book Day One by Drew Dudley. Listen, don't react, respond. Respond to situations. Don't react. Respond to when you get, when an offense happens or you feel the urge to be offended. Respond to that. Don't react. Reaction is to be offended immediately. Responding, you think and contemplate and go, did they really mean that? Did I really interpret that the right way? Sometimes, right, it's whether they intentionally or unintentionally offend you, right? Just be kind to yourself in that and do yourself a favor and respond. Don't react. But you may be saying, hey, listen, I got to retaliate. Right? I got to retaliate. And so listen, when you react, you retaliate. That's how you do that. But let's choose today to develop our character and respond to situations, respond to people. It's going to help our blood pressure. It's going to help our heart. It's just going to help us in general to do that. Again, when you're backed up into a corner, when life squeezes you, what comes out of you? That's your true self. That's your true nature. That's the character that people are going to see when no one else is looking around, when it's just you looking at you in the mirror. Who do you see? Who is it that you identify with? And do you identify with your insecurity or do you identify with your integrity? Right? Who do you identify with when you look in the mirror at the end of the day? It's just you, right? You're the one that can hold you accountable more than anybody else. Okay. So do me a favor. Make sure that you respond. Don't react, because at the end of the day, your character will get the last laugh. And I hope that what comes out of you, right, is positivity. What comes out of you is understanding. What comes out of you is responsiveness, integrity, right? Positive habits. I hope that that's what comes out of you in developing your character, right? People will fall in love with your character. They won't fall in love with your words. I said this in my last video. Maya Angelou said, man, people will forget what you said, what you did. However, people will never forget how you made them feel. How do you make people feel today, right? How do you make you feel? Are you proud of your character? Are you proud of what you are doing, right? Or are you not proud of what you're doing? Are you not creating positive habits? What is it today that you could say, I am moving forward and developing my habit today? Listen, I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you're encouraged and challenged. And do me a favor again, subscribe, like this content, share it with a friend and family member. And listen, in the comments below, share your thoughts, your feedback. If there's any topics that you want me to cover in future videos, just put them below. I'd love to look over them and then potentially do a video later on those things. So thank you guys again for all your support, and I'll see you next time.